Look at this tomato. It reminds me of a bench. Look at this mandarin. It reminds me of a bench. Look at this flower. It reminds me of a bench. Since last week's video was so much fun for me to do with the book and looking at all the different forms, I thought, let's do it again. So here we have our little book, and I marked this area because I thought this week we're going to do something with furniture, just because I love drawing furniture. And for that, I'm going to go with something that's not necessarily animal, but still in nature. So we're going to look at leaves, non-living, and trees and plants. So non-living starts at 86. Let me just go there. Oh no, page 86. Ha! 82. There we go. So these are the non-living. These are the categories that we have here. This is a little bit cool. So just before I continue, I want to do something, as I said, bench, but outdoor. So I still want something warm, maybe woody, maybe a warm stone, but these are a little bit cold. This could be, I do like the color palette here. I like this texture, and I also like this very simple pebble-like shape. I could see a nice bench with this one. Okay. Let me take a further look. We can cut this out. Let's see what I end up with, because I think I like this. I might stay with this one. Okay, so after some searching, I did decide to stay with the wasp nest, just because this one and these two shapes, I mean the pattern and the shape really work for me. Not so much the color choices, but for that I will either go with the honeycomb, which is nice and warm, and I can imagine like a nice light wood with a dark wood accent, or just a painted accent. And I also like these toned down colors of this shell. So I see which of these two color palettes I choose, but I'll definitely go with this shape. So let's see what we can do. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, this time around we're going to do traditional. So yeah, paper and pen. And I'm probably gonna color it in with the iPad. Let's see, because I just like that shiny glossy digital color sometimes over just the marker sketch. So I'm just gonna add this nice pebble shape here in the corner, and then together also with this interesting sort of texture. So let's see what we can do with this. Let me put the book away. So right off, I'm thinking, so if you look at the pebble, so pebble has like a smaller under area than a top, and then something like that. This is what I see when I think of a pebble, right? Like something like this. If we think of a 3D shape, maybe I lifted it a bit more than I should have. Something like this. So usually pebble is very smooth, but I could go a little bit higher, something like that. And then these would come in like these shapes. So how I see this is if I would take this shape, and then I would, like, it's almost like a 3D geography. When you look at mountains on maps, you have these sort of representation of 3D geometries. Okay, so sometimes something interesting that happens is when you turn the object around, sometimes from the back, it looks really cool. So for me, this would be the front area. So that's why I also drew it a couple of times from that. But then I turned it a little bit and I think it looks really, at least the shape already is cool. I'm not talking about ergonomics here, just because I don't know how comfortable it would be to sit, but the shape I really like. So I'm going to explore a little bit further. I think this one is a pretty good representation. So the idea was that I was a bit stuck with the nice 3D shape, and I thought, okay, it might be helpful if I just really break it down into steps and then try to unite it. Okay, so I like this. I don't like this so much, but I just had an idea. I remember that I have a new app that should be able to handle this sort of design just nice, or nicely, namely Gravity Sketch. So after some quick struggling, I guess, this is where we are in 3D. So it's sort of, I do like it. It gives me a better overview of what I want. I still don't know ergonomically how comfy it is, but I think if you're walking around, I think this should be like in a park. If you're walking around for hours in a park, it should be nice to sit on something like this. So this sort of helps me where I want to go, where I want to take this concept. So I think I'm going to go back and just do a final lines on paper now. Okay, I think it's the basic shape. Like I pretty much captured it from the go. I just needed to exercise a little bit more to see how I want to structure it. We had some more bends, we had some more straight lines, and I feel like in this one I sort of brought everything a little bit together. So yeah, let's see how it's gonna look if I throw some colors and maybe some textures on it. All right, and now I took a picture of the drawing and open the picture in Artsturio Pro. And yeah, now we're going to clean it up a little bit because I don't know if it comes over here on the image, but it's quite yellowish from the paper. So I'm going to clean that up and then we're gonna start coloring it in. So we're gonna go to the adjustments and then I'm gonna take the curves, push it up a little bit towards the peak and then pull the darks down. So we have the nice and sharp darks. Now the yellow is even much more visible. So what I do, I come to hue saturation and I just bring down the saturation because technically I don't need it. And I give it some light now. Oh, not yet. Okay, and now I go back to adjust the curves, push up this peak again and pull down everything else so I have nice and sharp lines. There we go. Now I can set this to multiply. Very good. We create a new layer, pull it below this one. Actually, layers can go away. And I'll take my lasso tool, selection tool, and just start going at it. Okay, so this is honeycomb and this was the shell, and I do think we're going to stick with the shell just because honeycomb is a bit too colorful. But I put them there so we can test them around. Alright, and there you have it. So I threw a couple of wooden textures there, made the copper look a little bit more shiny by using the burn and the dodge tool. Well, mostly the dodge tool. I used the burn tool for the shadows on the ground, and yeah, I used a couple of textures because I just wanted to give this feeling. I also did leave all the lines in there because I like this sort of rough approach. But yeah, so here we have a bench that's could be like a park bench. Whoa, let me cut you off there. Just because I did a whole bunch of work afterwards because I wasn't satisfied. It looked quite a bit too bent, as if when you sit on it, you would slide off and it looked uncomfortable. So I wanted to redesign the thing. So I jumped into different programs, resketched it a lot, and ended up with just changing a couple of lines in the end. So let me show you. Here we go. So the main things that I changed is I took away 2 lines here. There's still something left there. I can fix that later, doesn't matter. But I added this line here and this line, I aligned it here. So if this wasn't here, this looked very, like the whole thing looked rounded, like if you would be sliding off. But now it's actually what I wanted to achieve with this one, that you sit there, but then here at your legs, well, not legs, but your legs bend, it's actually more nice and rounded. I hope you enjoyed this second episode of using nature's inspiration, and also this little book to come up with interesting shapes for benches. Tell me what you think of this bench. Would you rather never sit on it? It looks super uncomfortable to you. Which it could be. I didn't check ergonomics that much, but it was fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thumbs up, other things, or thumbs down if you disliked it. But yeah, I'm curious about your opinion. And as always, the most important thing is that you folks have a great time, and see you next week. Bye-bye.